Having downloaded the program, one has an icon you can click on, which brings up the splash page, where you can join a room. And as you can see, there are many rooms that you can choose from. You can create a room, and that's just simply linking out to an environment that you already have saved in another server, and you can upload it here. You can choose your name for your avatar, and even what kind of avatar that you want to have. And of course, my rooms, you can select that, and that would just give you the rooms that you have created for your own personal use. At this point, we're going to select the medieval campus, and I think the reason why we call it a campus will be pretty evident to you soon. We come into one of the buildings where we've decorated the walls with pictures of the Crusades, the topic under study. The picture at the front is actually a slideshow, and if we click on our E button, that will work its way through a variety of different slides. You can see someone's not too happy to see us over to the left, and as we come out the door, you can see the true power of Unity. Behind the statue in the distance there, you can see some archers that are guarding a room that seems to be set aside for perhaps the Lord Mayor, the Lord of this particular realm. Each one of these buildings is a room in itself. And as you can see, there's probably about 20 to 30 different buildings in here. I haven't really ever taken the time to count them, but enough to have a campus. And one can imagine that students could start off as serfs and perhaps work their way up as they complete their assignments. Perhaps the top student ends up becoming Lord of the Manor. But as you can see, lots of room for different classes. Each one of the rooms can be set up with a zone so that it has its own voice. When you're outside, you can speak to people at varying distances. Somebody off in the distance, you wouldn't hear them if they were shouting out to you or talking with someone else. But in a room, you would be able to have those kinds of conversations that you would expect in class. Now, having a look at this build too, you might be surprised to learn that that's a $40 kit, and that that's just one of 4 or 5 different kits that work together to create a medieval town. We're heading off to a more modern campus, and this is something that some people perhaps would prefer to have for a variety of different courses. We're just going to take a tour through the different buildings in between them. I'm really noting that I recorded this on a TV screen actually, and it was probably would have been a much better idea to have taped this on a high-def computer screen. But still, you can see that the buildings are pretty remarkable, and of course if you were to take the time to try and build this in some of the other popular programs, it would take months and even years. But these packages that you can buy, asset bundles, are becoming cheaper and cheaper all the time. And the artists that put them together are literally making over $1 million a year, some of the ones at the top of their field. You can see the trees, they can be swaying in the breeze. You can have snowfall, all kinds of things that you can do with this very, very powerful engine. But of course, that kind of sophistication comes with talent and skills and programming, and that can be an expense as well. But we do have a number of students in our own school that have picked up on this very quickly, and we see that even in this environment here, where people who have come in within a couple of weeks are building some pretty amazing things. So it's not that hard to pick up, and if you're using this primarily for language learning or just for the passing on of information, it's pretty easy to create a very contextual and authentic looking build in which students might do that. So you can see there's different floors to the building and any number of rooms that you might want to use for a variety of different purposes. We'll go into this one room here, and today it's a room on Canadian Studies. Very traditional type of classroom. As we come up to the front, you can see the E to the left, which just prompts the teacher or the students to be able to control the slides as they go through. And you can see the slides are instantaneous. Like everything else here, it doesn't take long for things to res. And it could be an environment where students might want to come in after class and review the materials that the teachers left up on the board. All right, and out we go, back into the hallway, and time to go someplace else. You can see how fast these things load, and especially after the first time, when the materials are loaded into cache, they download very, very quickly the next time. Nothing too spectacular here, but we're going to be able to jump on this ride by pressing E. And you can see that this coaster rides on a red rail, and of course that visibility of that red rail is optional. So one can see that you could create this winding, twisting journey or trail, but have it invisible, so it just seems like one is walking or flying through the environment. You can see how large these environments are, and again, just how quickly everything reses and how far off it does, which makes me really think that this is quite an ideal tool for using for machinimas. Again, all the things that you see here may have cost $100 to purchase and download and install in this environment. And of course, once you've purchased them, you can use them over and over again in different environments and worlds. If you have server space, I'm really not too sure about what kind of limits there are as far as the number of worlds that you can have. Haven't really run across any limitations yet. And again, of course, they can be saved as environments that are not up, and they don't seem to take too much room at all, and then just upload them when you need them. You can see the speed now really picking up, and this is when it becomes really impressive. And we're coming back to the platform. And time to disembark and take a look at something else. We're just going to quickly move to a variety of different ones now. You've seen how you move from one to another, so I'm not going to use the menu at this point. So here's a meeting place. I believe somewhere in here there is a screen where you can sit and watch a movie. You can put videos on. That's something that's really being worked on. This is basically was created for Oculus Rift and for people to get together and meet and chat. Seeing the power, though, that is in this SDK and the possibilities for education, we're hoping to get our own SDK of it. We're working on that right now with the idea that we would then be able to develop it for education. This, of course, is a training scenario for rescue workers. And these environments are becoming increasingly more and more interactive. And to close off, just a simple chess set. But the idea being that these warriors are set up so that they can interact and battle against each other. And the victor wins and the other one disappears. A very cool way to play chess. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tour, and if you have any questions, I'd be more than glad to answer them. I hope we get a chance to work with this together sometime.